Hello everyone, it's Max McAllister from Traction Dynamics. Here today we're going to give you an overview of, this will be a video in two parts. This is part one of how to install the Hondaline trunk removal kit for your Honda 2018 or 19 tour model motorcycle. So again, there are some people that want the loaded accessory options that come on the tour model, but they like the bagger look. So it's much more expensive to buy the standard model bike and try and buy the things to make it buy the bells and whistles that Honda put on the tour. So cheaper to buy this bike in the long run and take the trunk off. And one of the reasons I say that is I believe the tour model is more resaleable, and if you have both kits, you can sell the bike with both kits. So I think that's a pretty good way to go shop for the bike for the best bang for your buck, and to be able to get the most at resale time. So anyway, what you have to buy is two kits from Honda. One is a bracketry and hardware kit. It's about $150. The other piece is a giant shelter cover that'll cover this back area where the trunk used to be, and that's $400. And they have it listed simply by the color that matches your bike. It's very easy to buy. So when you go to Hondaline, HondalineAccessories.com, and then you enter your year, make, model, it's already going to pull up the correct colors that came for your year. So just pick your color, that's one part number. Pick your hardware kit, that's only one item. And so the whole thing's about $550. Now, the installation is complex. And it requires kind of what you see here, a complete disassembly of the back of the bike. Just one step short of getting the saddlebags all the way off the bike. So you can take them loose and leave them kind of hanging and do the job. So let me go over what you have to do real quick, and I'm going to run through the Hondaline instructions. Use these instructions as a guideline. Watch my video, because about half of everything in here you don't have to do. It's a waste of time. It's just totally unnecessary. So I'm going to highlight which ones you need to do, which ones you don't. So you'll open both saddlebags, remove both side covers, remove your saddle, remove your passenger grab rails. Honda says to remove these fuse panels and remove this passenger step assembly. Step 6, no. Step 7, no, don't do that. Next, you'll open the trunk lid, and there's a plastic cover here you need to remove. It's decorative. There's 2 screws inside the trunk. If you have the DA model, I guess the fully loaded one, it'll have a USB cord in the trunk. So that's fine. You just take that loose. Then you remove the colored side panels from the trunk. Where are mine at? I don't know where I put mine. Oh, here they are. So you got to remove the side panels. Lots of screws and push pins inside the trunk. You take those off each side. Actually, it goes this way. One tip to that, this tab near your trunk hinge, those wires that run through here, this catches on it and it doesn't want to come out. You really got to pry that apart. So keep your eye open for that. Don't forget a tip I showed in another video. Put a piece of tape on the top of your saddlebag lid where this lies. This Phillips screw here will gouge your bodywork when you go to take the cover off, guaranteed, unless you put tape there. So, and unless you're aware of it, and take care not to gouge your bodywork. It's the jagged screw will scratch your covers. Next, there's a panel under the trunk you got to take away. Next, it wants you to disconnect the trunk latch assemblies, cables, remove the trunk latch and all that. No, 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 and no. Don't do any of that. Just leave all of that there. It doesn't have to be done. That's just unnecessary. You'll remove your fender. There's this trunk latch piece with the key. You take that loose. 4 bolts on each saddlebag. It shows you where they're at. You will have to come around to this side. Sorry, I've been sick, so I got a cough and a cold here. You have to take your trunk latch mechanism loose so that you can undo the emergency cable here, pass it through, and it comes out through your saddlebag. They give you a plug to push into the hole to keep your saddlebag watertight. They tell you to remove the antenna from here. That's totally unnecessary. Don't do that. It's a waste of time. Then, if you have a model with the USB cord in the trunk, you'll unhitch that USB cord from your module here, your entertainment center. Honda supplies you with a nifty little batch of blind plugs for all the electrical connectors you're going to undo. So these weatherproof those things, so you snap those back when you take things loose. There's a speaker connector on this side. You have to put a blind plug on. If you have the Hondaline accessory trunk harness, you'll have to undo that. They're both under this one boot right here. On the other side is the primary harness. Come on around here. Primary harness for the trunk. The trick to this is the mating connector has a latch on it like you're used to working with. So you know how you push a latch and release an electrical connector. This one's fooling you. That latch doesn't do anything. It's not related to anything at all. This one pushes together and locks basically permanently, and there is no easy way to unlatch it except back here. It's intended to really be stuck together. So you'll see a big obvious latch on this side, but this little latch back here is the one you want to try and work. So take notice of that. If you're messing with a latch and nothing's coming apart, it's oriented on the bike this way, but the actual latch is underneath it. So turn it over and look for that. They give you, again, a blind plug to snap in there so that that's all clean and neat. And then they tell you to remove the trunk from the subframe. No, don't do that. It's totally unnecessary. Leave the trunk and everything all bolted to its subframe. And at this point, you just gently pull each bag away. Now there's wires there, so don't pull hard. Just let it pull away however it wants to. What we're trying to get to, the reason we're going through all of this trouble, is to get to these two bolts. This is literally all of the work here. This one is so hidden when the bag is bolted up. You can't put a wrench on it. Don't even try. You have to do this. No, there's no way around it. This one bolt you can get to. It's not bad. It's in a pretty straight line. You know, T-handle, anything will get to it. This one you're going to need a little box wrench, a ratchet box wrench or something to get in there, something very small. But this is literally one bolt that's screwing everything up for everybody who wants to put this kit on. Otherwise, you wouldn't have to take any of this stuff, you know, apart back here, but that is what it is. There's one more bolt forward here, and on the subframe, so you're going to take this bolt and nut loose on each side, take those two bolts out, and then the trunk with the subframe bolted to it will just lift away from the bike with the latch and everything all attached, all one assembly. You set it to the side. What you're adding in the hardware kit now is going to be these two side brackets and this cross bracket. What these do underneath the tank shelter is they allow you to, when you put this new decorative colored piece on, they allow you to secure it, bolt it here and here with that. And then there's two decorative trim plates that pretty it up. But if you want, Honda sells a small, tiny, teeny-weeny luggage rack that actually also is slanted downward. So it has not received positive reviews. So it holds something silly like 5 pounds and slants backwards down the bike. I'm not sure what you're supposed to put on it. Now, these 3 holes in the center are for if you want to bolt a passenger backrest to the assembly. So that's kind of the deal. I've got everything loose here. I put it together loose just because I like to tighten things after I know I've got things lined up. So we're kind of at that stage now, and this is where I'm going to stop this video. Once I get the bike all put back together, we'll come back for a part 2 once I get it bolted back to the point where I can kind of show you the final steps of putting the cover on, and so you can see what it all looks like. So that's the overview of what it takes to get to this point in time. So as you can see, not a job for the faint of heart, or probably for the typical, home do-it-yourselfer. If you take it to your Honda dealer, I'm sure you'll be able to get somebody there to do this job for you, pretty painlessly, other than the cost, right? So I don't know what the flat rate on this job is, but I'm going to guess it's above 4 hours. So you'd be looking at $400 in labor or so to have this kit installed. So obviously you're not going to pull into your Honda dealer once a month and pay $100 to have it, $400 to have it taken off, and $400 to put it on all the time. So that's why we're currently working on a kit to make it so you can do this in 15 minutes. So keep up with that. But while we're prototyping that kit, I wanted to take the time to actually show you the whole factory installation of the Hondaline accessory kit. So we'll be back with part 2 later on. All right. Thanks a lot. I'm Max. Don't forget to share these videos, on the GoldWing forums and places where people learn about this stuff, and subscribe to my channel, and I'd appreciate it very much.